I mean, there was a guy in Ocala, a young man, Stephen Anthony Shields, age 24, and I guess it was Saturday morning, drove his car into the Queen of Peace Catholic Church in Ocala, drove it right through the front doors, jumped out, and started spreading gasoline around, the inside of the church. There were people in there setting up. They were praying, getting ready, I guess, for a morning mass that morning.
Terrifying.
I mean, who would think it's 7:30 a.m.? You got to think all the criminals have finally gone to bed, but I guess this guy, he had to have stayed up all night. I don't think he got up early for this. That's just my guess. And based on his mugshot, we could only imagine what he was up all night doing. I'm just guessing he was up all night. Yeah, well, he looked like, I don't know. He looked like the kind of person that would try to set a church on fire. But, of course, I could hear some of my friends say, well, what does that kind of person look like? Well, I don't know. Pull up his mugshot. You tell me. But anyway, nobody was hurt, thankfully, and deputies were able to track him down. He was driving. They were able to crash their car into his car and seize his escape.
It's the mustache, Morgan.
The mustache and the little goatee.
What are you saying?
I'm saying if he had red skin. Well, I've got a full beard. If he had red skin, would he or would he not look like the devil? Okay, that's all I'm saying. But anyway, he apparently admitted to it, and he said what he did was awesome.
He looks a little sinister.
He does look sinister. So anyway, you're not safe anywhere. You're not safe in Ocala at a church on 7:30 Saturday morning because some maniac's going to drive through the front door and set the place on fire. And for what? We don't even know.
And speaking of setting the place on fire, Champ Sports, on Fowler Avenue?
That was set on fire.
They identified the man that did it.
Good.
Just breaking now.
Wow. And does it say who it was?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was a terrible scene. I mean, what was that, like 2 months ago? Mm-hmm. About? Coming up on 2 months ago, just about.
Was it really?
Month and a half ago. I know time's been flying. Didn't that happen around the
I feel
beginning?
like it was a month ago.
They do have his name now.
Okay, what is it?
It is 20-year-old Terrence Lee Hester, Jr. of Tampa.
Ugh. What a jerk. And
he surrendered in New York.
Oh, he was on the lam, trying to get away. Went to New York, huh? I guess he'd feel comfortable in New York. I want to talk about that some today because New York's like the new home for criminals, unabashed criminals. I mean, some of the stuff I've seen, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos, folks, but if you haven't been out there watching them, I mean, crime in New York City is just going berserk. It's absolutely surging. It's really taken us back. I mean, there was a time in the late 70s when there were a couple thousand murders a year in New York. A couple of thousand murders a year. I mean, they only have like 200 to 300 a year in today's world. Now, I don't know what this year's going to be, but say in 2019, because New York really cracked down on crime starting in the early 80s. And some of those were the Giuliani years. I mean, he's one of the ones who kind of brought the city back into order because the end of the 70s, it was in bad shape what had happened in New York City. And the current mayor is probably the worst mayor in any of the major cities. He might be competing with Atlanta's mayor, and maybe Seattle's mayor. But we got some pretty bad Democrat mayors out there, if you haven't noticed. But de Blasio's got to be one of the worst. What he's doing to his city, I mean, he's basically made a full frontal attack on the NYPD. And I mean, I don't understand what these people think is going to happen when you get rid of the police. The criminals are going to take over. You think that's going to be a more just and fair society, one run by criminals? I mean, are you stupid?
Well, the latest call now.
Wait, don't answer that question. Don't answer that question, de Blasio. We know already. We know the answer to that one.
The latest call now, get rid of the military. Have you heard that?
No, I hadn't heard that one yet. Defund the military,
Defund the military. That's the latest.
Where does it end? Well,
I heard some chit chat at a get together over the weekend, and one person was saying to a fireman who was at the small social gathering event, less than 10 people that I was at, oh, they're gonna defund the fire department yet? Well, no, they're not. That's crazy. Why would they do that? Would you have ever thought that they would defund the police department?
Well, I don't know if they're actually going to be able to pull it off. Maybe they will in some of these cities. But, that's why, as we're going to talk about some today, people are absolutely fleeing the cities right now. So I think you're going to see a whole change in the way that people in this country are living, and law-abiding, good, decent, honest people are going to leave. And then it's going to get worse. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.